let's go through our table picks. So we are 1 day away from the season kicking off, so we got to get these picks in. Tor and I did this last year, essentially just tried to pick every spot every team was going to finish at. So let's begin with the bottom three. I'll give you mine, and then maybe we'll jump to Torin next. So the three teams I am choosing or guessing will get relegated are Luton Town, Sheffield. Sorry about that, boys. Thanks for coming, but you only get one season. And then Wolves. See ya.
Your
Uh,
team.
I'm
I know
exactly
it
the
hurts
same.
me. It hurts me, but they just I don't know what they're doing. They're in a tailspin.
Yeah, exactly the same for me. I got Luton Town 20, Sheffield 19, Wolves 18. I feel like we talked about before, it is actually fairly rare that all three promoted teams actually get relegated. I think we talked about it last time and we
Yeah.
pulled up the stats. I don't remember the numbers, but it feels like two is the right number to get relegated. And Wolves, of all the teams that stayed up, even some of the teams that looked terrible last year, like Everton, what they did in the offseason is not looking good. So I think they're definitely the most likely to head down.
Yeah, bad vibes. And they didn't finish the season well with the squad that they had last year. So,
True. With
yeah,
decent money spent too. It just didn't mesh.
yeah. Blake, what about you?
It's funny. I don't want to copy you guys, but this is literally the exact same order.
Oh my God, no
Luton
way.
20, Sheffield 19. I just feel like both of those teams are a little bit
We're either
too
really smart or
inexperienced.
just saps.
And Wolverhampton, I love watching them, but they got rid of literally everybody, and then they didn't really add anybody. And they weren't that great last year. They were barely, I think they were to like what 16th last year, maybe barely made it out.
Yeah,
I will say going into this, I didn't look at the odds at all. So my
I didn't
choices might
either.
have a little bit more
I didn't either.
personal
So these are
touch
all
to. Okay,
just
okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to
what I've
be
seen on
influenced.
Twitter.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I did. I
Yeah.
wanted to do it
No,
all
at
myself.
the end, once we get through, we can come back and check what the bookmakers say.
Yeah, I have
So
the odds as well. We can check that later.
awesome.
All right, I'm gonna rattle through my bottom 17 to 11 basically because we'll probably talk more about the top half teams. So from 17 up, I have Everton barely making it again because they're a shit show and they don't buy any players. And then I have Burnley, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Brentford, West Ham at 11. Those are mine.
Okay. Similar for me, a little bit different order though. So I had Bournemouth at 17, just skirting by. Burnley at 16, just like you. I'm Nottingham at 15, Crystal at 14, Everton Everton at 13. So I'm expecting a little bit more out of them this year. Fulham at 12, and then Brentford at 11.
All right, very similar, yeah.
Okay. Wow, Bournemouth, you don't like them, huh? They had some good signings. They're actually a good team.
I know, I
I
liked them
just,
Lost them
too.
live last year.
I put them at
I
15th.
just,
I wanted to put them higher and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I just
I
really
had them
think they,
actually top 10. Well, I'll get into it.
Oh, I like
dude.
it. Let's
I
go.
just really think they got. I think they played a little bit out of their means. I feel like the end of the season last year to not be in like serious relegation contention. They played fantastic, but I just don't see it again this year. Don't see it.
They had some good signings, though.
They did. I just want to rerun this for Torin. So you gave them an A minus on their transfers. Just want to call that out.
Yeah.
I gave them a B plus. So we like what they did.
Yeah, I like their strategy and their approach, but they're a small club, man. They're probably second in terms of fan base to Luton Town, who's going to be extremely small. So
Their fan base is crazy. That I've seen 4 games over there, and 2 of them have been against Bournemouth, and they
against
are
Bournemouth,
just wild fans. Like they definitely show up. They're loud. They're pretty fun.
each Bournemouth fan counts as two regular fans.
No, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right.
They talked mad shit to Harry Kane after his goal, and I loved it after he scored.
How about you, Blake?
Yeah,
What do
let's
you
hear
So
have?
some.
I'm Everton, Burnley, Nottingham Forest. I only pushed them up a little bit because they got our new goalie. I have Fulham, Crystal Palace, Brentford, and Aston Villa.
Ooh,
Oh,
Aston Villa. Okay.
Aston
still
Villa.
exciting.
Okay.
Bottom
Now
half.
we see. All right. All
All right,
right.
well, let's hit that then. What Aston Villa there? So I think that was a bit of a surprise for both of me and Austin. But what are you seeing and thinking out of that team?
The teams I have above them, I have Bournemouth beating them. I have Brighton above them, West Ham, every other team above them. I just think they're a decent team, but they're not as good as those teams, I think.
Okay.
That's fair. All right, so here's my top half. I'm going to go 10, and then we'll stop at the European cutoff at 6. So
Okay.
I have Nottingham Forest at 10. This is my
Ooh!
surprise team. Yeah. They're
All
a top
right.
half team for me, barely. But I really like how they finished the year last year, and I think they improved their team tremendously in the transfers. We talked about Alonga that they got from Man United. I think he's going to fit perfectly. They're going to be super fun to watch. I was really high on them last year, and they impressed me, and I think they got a little better. And they got our boy Turner. Come on.
That's right.
So, yeah, I'm high on them, giving them number 10. In my number 9 slot, Brighton. I love Brighton. I love the coach. I think they're still going to be strong, but to lose Caicedo and McAllister in the middle of the field, it's going to be tough to replicate what they did last year. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not falling off a cliff, but I have them at 9.
They lost Sanchez too to Chelsea.
Yeah. So I assume they'll bring in somebody either now or in January, but I can't see them making the same run they made last year. Number 8, I have Chelsea. Number 7 is where I have Aston Villa.
Okay. All right, so I have West Ham at 10, so that's sort of my surprise top half team. This is kind of the same old story with me. I've always been kind of a West Ham homer, I think, but they have so many good players on their team. They're really capable of being here. They just never seem to put it together.
They should be
But
there.
they should be, exactly. So I'm not saying they're going to be 8 or 7 or something. I'm just saying you can get into the top 10. You can get to 10th spot. I also have Brighton at 9. Same exact story, right? The some of the players they've lost. It's going to be tough to stay, in that top 6-5 area like they were last year. I have Aston Villa at 8, and then Newcastle at 7. I think Newcastle takes a step back from last year.
Okay.
I think they played very well last year. Obviously, they added players. They're spending money. I think doing European football and obviously the intense Premier League, I just feel like this is just a season with drop-off written all over it. I just feel like it's bound to happen, and I feel like it's going to be this team that takes a step back.
Okay. Just to comment on that, I am with you on West Ham. I actually originally put them in at like 7 or 8. For some reason, they were one of the first teams that I thought of.
You're like, oh yeah, they're
I'll
pretty
put
good.
them here, and then I was like, and I slowly
And then you see
kept
the other
moving them
teams.
down.
Yeah.
So I have them at 11, not far off from where you have them, but I do
Yep.
think they have the talent to be higher than that. Anyways,
Yep.
Blake, what about you? What you got?
I got Brighton at 10, Bournemouth at 9, West Ham at 8, and Chelsea at 7.
Okay, so we're all in the same ballpark. Okay.
Yeah. I think my biggest one is Bournemouth is taking 9. We'll see.
Yeah, that's big.
That's a big call, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome if you get that right. Okay, playing Europa, I'm sorry to hear it, Blake, your team in 6th. Tottenham Hotspur, number 6, and I have Newcastle 5.
Okay. I also have Tottenham in 6th spot. I have Chelsea in the 5th spot.
Okay. You're pretty high on Chelsea then. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the positive vibes there now. I mean, we talked about last time how good of a coach we think Pochettino is,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like with the crazy amount of players they have there that are very good, it's just I feel the optimism. So I think it could actually happen.
I am with you 100%, but that Nkunku injury just gave me a real cold shower,
Same. That's why I have
did
them
hurt.
out of Europa. Yeah. I have them at
That
7.
one hurt. Yeah.
But
So I also have Tottenham at 6.
Oh!
Okay, you are
Come
a
on,
rational
come on.
Tottenham fan. I'd love to hear it. Nice.
He stopped drinking the Kool-Aid for today.
It's a sad day. All right. And then I have Manchester United at 5. I just think they're a similar team where they never put it together. They're already having injury issues. It's just starting all over again. And I think they barely miss out, like maybe by a point or 2.
All right.
And their goalkeeper has already been a disaster. So
Has
Rough
he?
start. He-
rough start. You
He's
see the
had a-
game in San Diego? He hurt Wrexham's best player.
Did he? Oh shit.
Yeah, there's been some bad moments. Harry Maguire had some bad moments. I don't want to put too much on the summer, but it wasn't off to a flying start. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, do 4 and 3.
Yeah,
4 and 3.
4 and 3.
Okay, here we go. I have 4, Arsenal. 3, Man United. 2.
Oh, what?
That's it.
Oh, just 4 and 3. Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll hit last 2 last.
That was close.
He was ready to say it.
Arsenal 4, Man United 3.
I know what you were going to say too. I saw those lips move.
Yeah.
But in number 4, I have Man United. I think that you were kind of mentioning it, Blake, but I think it's gonna be a battle for that 4th spot between like Chelsea, Man U, maybe one of these other teams. And I think they just skirted. I just feel like Man U is one of those teams where like you feel like they're not playing well or having a good season, and then all of a sudden they're like in 3rd place. Like that's just the way they are. And so I feel like they're gonna end up here, whether we think they're playing good or bad. I just think it happens. And then my first probably real shock, I have Man City in 3rd place.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
I think the
4th,
loss we
I
talked
have,
about it. We talked about it before, but the loss of Gundogan, I think is really going to hurt them. I think it's going to be tough. We saw it a little bit in some of the preseason games we talked about, right? If De Bruyne gets hurt or something, it already feels like he can't play a full game. I'm getting a little bit concerned. They're still going to be good, right? They're still going to be Champions League, but they're going to be much more vulnerable and susceptible, I think, to getting caught.
We'll talk about it later, but I think they have the most underrated transfer of the season, so we'll talk about that in the next section. I have Newcastle 4th. I think Newcastle of Arabia is always going to be spending money. They'll spend money in January. They made their jerseys modeled after the Arabian national team. They're going to have a Sheik fly in. He'll probably cheat. He'll pay off some refs, and they're going to take 4th. And 3rd, I have Liverpool. I think they've made some decent signings, but I just feel like they've been kind of a mess lately. I don't know if it's going to turn around that quickly. Like they were just too hard to have like a solid trajectory of wins last year, so they're taking 3rd.
All right. The Newcastle thing, I had him 5th. What did you have him, Torin?
I have Newcastle 7th.
7th. Okay, so you're the most down on Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
You like
When you
Tonali,
look
though.
at these, though. Yeah, Tonali is good.
I like Newcastle, but I mean, you try to arrange these teams in the right order. It's hard. I mean, I feel like this is going to be very close, right? Like you could talk about 4th and 7th being separated by 3 or 4 points or something when we get to the end of things. So I think it's gonna be really tight. But yeah, I don't know. All the signs for me of a drop off are there. I feel like.
Yeah. Okay.
When you look at these like lists though too, it's like the top 1 through like even like 12 are all really good teams. Like from Brighton down there to that petite foot little Harry Kane out in Bundesliga out there. He's just he's not going to know what to do with himself when he's playing some team from like the Black
scoring
Forest.
4 goals in 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, they have like hairy feet out in the Black Forest. He doesn't know what to do, so I don't know.
Oh man, I can't wait for Harry Kane to play in the Champions League against some English team. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really
against
fun
Arsenal.
Yeah, too bad.
Just give them nightmares.
Too bad Tottenham's not in the Champions League.
Dude, the one thing we forgot to talk about is how absolutely stoked Alan Shearer must be now that this move happened. Remember we were talking about
I
this
didn't
quote?
think about that. Yeah.
I don't know if you heard this quote, Blake, but when the talks were first going on that he might go to Bayern, he came out and said something. He's like, if that motherfucker wants to go to Bayern, I'll pick him up in my car and drive him there myself. Anything to keep my goal scoring record intact.
That's awesome.
So good.
Okay, top 2. Here we go. I got Man City 2, which means I have Liverpool 1, baby. I am 100% in on Liverpool. I was thinking about this before they signed Caicedo, and now that they have Caicedo, I'm all in. I'm all fucking in because to Blake's point, it's like they were shaky last year in the back, and I think it was because their midfield was just trash.
Exactly. We talked about it.
It was old and busted, and to bring in McAllister, to bring in Caicedo, who were on the same team. They have good chemistry together. They know how to play with each other. And then they bring in Soboslai. And then you bring Luis Diaz back from injury. Diego Jota's still there.
Yeah.
Darwin Nunez, I think, is going to have a bounce-back year. He was having a good summer. Yeah. And you still got Mo Salah, who's a boss. Like, this team is stacked. And they still have a good defensive back four, I think.
So they got rid of all those old guys that were playing so much, like Firmino, Henderson, Milner. Those guys got so much playing time still.
Yeah, Fabinho, I've been talking shit about him all year because he was just a statue back there. I was saying, I could beat him in a sprint, right now, if I got out of my chair and ran down the street. I could beat him in a sprint, I guarantee it. And I'm just really high in this team this year, so I'm going all in. Liverpool's my champion.
I like it. So for me, I have Arsenal at number 2, second best again. I think
can't wait.
We talked about it last time. I think they're better than last year, but not that much better. And I feel like they're setting themselves up to be in the exact same position again, to be challenging all year for it, and just to not quite have enough. And I also have Liverpool showing up this year with the new additions, with players coming back from injury, and just snatching it away from Arsenal, giving them more heartbreak again for the second year in a row.
I love it. Blake, what about you?
I put Arsenal, even though I thought Liverpool is probably going to take second, I put Arsenal second just because it makes me so happy that they choke every year. And I just want them to lose in the last day of the season, in the last 90th minute. That will make my season. And then I'm not counting out the champs. I put Man City until they show any sign. They're losing players. You guys are saying, that people are leaving. They're not, they may be shaky. They're still the champs. They still beat the shit out of pretty much every team in the Champions League.
It's true.
And they still have the best player in probably the world.
Yeah.
Best 2 players, I could probably say. And they have the best coach. So until that changes or someone gets hurt, they're still taking first.
True.
That case you just made me feel really stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking with my
I think I really just did want to pick them. So.
I mean,
I hate man oil. Man oil is not great.
What do you care where the money's coming from? As long as you're getting 120.
Just wait till I don't know, some Burge from United Arab Emirates buys Tottenham, then we'll see what Blake's saying then. So
yeah, right now, all we make our money off is Taylor Swift concert and Beyonce coming to town. That's all we make our money off.
And Bayern Munich. Awesome. Okay. So we'll save these picks. We'll revisit them in the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm interested, Austin, if you have it available, if we just quickly step through the actual odds. So if we look at bookmakers' odds, we'll see how that stacks up with what we picked.
So as far as if you wanted to pick the winner of the league, so this isn't necessarily where they're going to finish, but odds that they can win the title. It goes Man City minus 140. They're the heavy favorite. Second is Arsenal plus 450.
Okay.
Third is Liverpool plus 700. I'm all over that.
Yeah, let's get something on that.
Manchester United plus 1,000. Chelsea plus 1,800. Newcastle plus 2,200. Tottenham Hotspur plus 4,000. Aston Villa plus 8,000. Brighton at plus 8,000. And then it drops off a cliff. And then you have West Ham, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, etc., etc. So that's how it breaks down.
I feel like if we were to blend the picks that we all made, it more or less probably averages out to that, right?
I think so.
Liverpool being up in that combo, obviously Man City still being the favorite, Arsenal being right there. But that drop off in odds is very enticing. That 450 and then 700 dropping down to Liverpool, 1,000 for Man U.
Newcastle at 2,200 too is pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a slight chance they could do something.
Yeah, you don't have to throw a lot of money on that.
Exactly. When you're plus 1,000 odds or something, throw $10 at it.
I mean, it's hell. After that Leicester City championship, anything is possible.
Could be Bournemouth this year. You never know.
I'm pretty certain it won't be Bournemouth, but but hey, throw $10 on it, and you never know.
Yeah, right. All right, so We do have some transfer review to go through. So we have some questions that we asked ourselves looking back at the transfers during the summer. So I guess we'll just go around in a circle one by one through these questions. So first off on the list is our most disappointing transfer from the summer. My choice, even though it's probably good for the team, is to see Harry Kane leave the Premier League and go to Bayern. I think it's just really hard not to be disappointed to know that we're not going to see him again in the Premier League. He's done and gone. He's been such a staple for so long. Watch him every weekend. So it definitely hurts a little bit to know that he's out of the league. But as we already talked about, probably a smart move for Tottenham.
Mm-hmm. That's a good choice.
Awesome.
I actually went with most disappointing. I put Everton, and after you read yours, I realized that it was an individual signing. So I'm going to pivot and go to Harry Kane for 30 mil. I'm disappointed in West Ham.
Harry Maguire?
Harry Maguire, thank you.
Yeah.
Wrong Harry. I just don't know who they were bidding against and why, after watching him play for the past year and a half, they were like, we need to pay $30 million to get this guy. Like, what do you... I don't get it. I'm disappointed in West Ham. I thought they were better than this.
We'll see. We'll see in the season when he actually has an opportunity to play a lot again. We'll see what's actually left in the tank.
Yeah. Blake, what was yours?
It's got to be Harry Kane, right? That was an easy one.
Yeah, when he read that off, I was like, oh man, you're taking that right out of his mouth.
No, that's definitely the most disappointing one.
That one hurts.
Okay,
Yeah.
who's your most underrated transfer of the
Here, I can start with this one. Vardiol. I think they paid like $70 million for him. I've always wanted Tottenham to get him. I've been a big fan. He has dominated games in the World Cup too, and I've watched them. I think he's just going to shore up that Man City defense. That was one of their biggest weaknesses, and I think that's why I picked them first too. I think the second I had a tie here. You're probably taking this, but I think Tonali is an insane player. I do watch a lot of Serie A in the morning, and I think he's going to be great for them. Newcastle already had solid defenders. I think they had a pretty solid midfield, but this is just they have a star now. They didn't have a star.
I think he fits their team really well too. I think he'll complement that team really well. I like those two picks.
Yeah.
So
we did talk about it. You might have missed it, Blake, but Austin saw a video where Tonali showed up to Newcastle. I agree with you 100% tactically and mentality. He's just a top player, right? But the video evidence was showing somebody that may not have been as excited to be making this transfer as one would hope.
He was devastated to leave.
I knew he was sad to leave Milan.
Yeah.
He said, he's Italian. You're going to fucking Newcastle. He's not going to see the sun all year.
Yeah.
Smog of Newcastle.
It was a depressing promotional video from Newcastle. It was their channel, Newcastle Football, and it was just him just hanging his head, dragging his feet through the tour of everything. And his girlfriend was really excited though, so she had a great time. She's happy to be there.
She's the key.
Yeah, she's the key to the success. All right, Torrin, who's your most underrated signing of the summer?
So my most underrated is one actually from today that you guys just told me about before the show. But the Ward-Prowse signing to West Ham, I think is going to be absolutely massive. I feel like there was obviously rumors he was going to leave, but I feel like it was 10th or 15th on the list of players people were talking about during the summer, right? They're like, who kind of cares about him? But we already talked about it. I think he's going to fit in very well with a team with other good players. He's going to bring the best out of them. I think it was the best possible move they could have made for that type of money. You already talked about Maguire, but we'll just forget about that one for now for West Ham. But I think this was a really smart move.
I wonder if this has anything to do with. I heard the rumors that Paqueta might be leaving. I know
it said Man City's interested. Yeah, Man City was making an offer of $70 million or something.
I wonder if that means that they're like, okay, Man City, have him now.
Yeah, we'll take half that money, buy somebody else, and then we're rich,
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. My most underrated was Alexis McAllister. I love him. I've been slurping the Liverpool Kool-Aid all day. to get him for $35 million only is a steal in my opinion. Looking at all the other guys that you had to pay top dollar for, I think McAllister's as good or better than most of them. He's had an amazing World Cup year into the league. He was a key part of that Brighton success, and I think he's going to fit in perfectly to what
think
does.
About that. They paid $80+ million more for somebody else on the same team as McAllister. That's a crazy the deal they got him for.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
McAllister's only 25 too.
Yeah, he's not old.
It's like Caicedo's younger, but what? 3 years younger? 4 years younger?
4 years younger, yeah.
Whoever McAllister's agent is needs to step his game up. I don't know.
Well, the transfer fee doesn't go to the player, so who knows what his wages are? He might have very good wages.
True.
Sometimes they get bonuses off of it, though.
That's fair.
Yeah, they
Brighton,
might. Yeah,
Brighton should have known his value. I don't know. Seems too low.
Maybe. Well, knowing now that they also took Caicedo, maybe there was some sort of handshake deal. They're like, we want both these players. We'll pay you this total for both of them, but let's make this deal now, this one later. So there may have been some stuff going on in the back rooms with the fact that both these players went to the same team.
You never know. I would love to know those things. Okay, I'll start with the most overrated of the... Torrin, you know this. Blake, this might be news to you.
We're probably the same.
Most overrated signing of the summer, Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz.
Oh, yeah, it's there it is.
Unanimous. See, we are friends, Blake.
I had a second place one too.
All right, what's your second place?
Mason Mount for $60 million.
Amen.
Big dollars.
Fucking man. Dude. Mason Mount, solid player. No fucking way he should be twice as expensive in the transfer fee as Alexis McAllister. No way.
Yeah. Crazy.
Solid. That was solid.
Yeah, Havertz. I think
Havertz, though.
We're all in agreement there.
Wasted that money right there.
Dude. Crazy.
I'm not a Havertz fan. I think he's a sham. Wasted pick. All right, well, that one was easy. Let's go to the next one then.
All right.
Transfer you still want to happen. This is a fun one. Okay.
Yeah.
Torrin, let's start with you. What do you think?
Yeah, so with this one, we're either seeing it can either be something that there is rumors about, or I kind of went out of pocket here and just looked at a transfer I kind of want to happen, or I think would be awesome to happen. And I would love to see Osimhen go from Napoli to Chelsea.
Oh man, I like that. Take that Nkunku spot,
dude. Get like an energetic, strong striker with the rest of those players at Chelsea. I think would be immense. It would be crazy to watch. It'd be so awesome. So I feel like that's the best sort of combination of players that I could come up with.
I like that one. I like that one a lot. All right, Blake, what about you?
So I'll drink for the American. I really want Arsenal to trade Balogun or transfer Balogun. I read this morning that there is talks that fell apart between Inter Milan and Arsenal for him.
And Monaco as well.
Yeah, so they feel like I don't know if they're overvaluing him or undervaluing. I don't know what's going on, but he needs to get out as soon as possible for the deadline because he just needs time. Like he's young, he's like 21. He can't just sit on the bench. And Kai Havertz can take all his playing time. And the other one was already said earlier was Gif Orban. Look him up. He plays for I think it's Gent. He's like the most exciting striker in the world, and Tottenham's supposed to offer like 80-90 million now that Harry Kane is gone. He's 21 years old.
All right. My transfer I still want to happen, also an American, so drink. I want Weston McKennie to go to Brighton. I thought this was going to happen early in the summer. I found some fake news about it. Yeah,
you should have seen this, Blake.
I was so excited. I was so amped. Like, oh, dude.
You sent it to me too.
Yeah. I know. I was so pumped, and it never happened. And I've just been thinking, like, this would be a perfect fit. Oh, my God. He could fit into that role. And it hasn't happened. So, hey, maybe it still could. I'm hoping. I'm praying for it.
Yeah.
Do you know who's the favorite to sign him right now?
No, I do not.
Bournemouth.
Oh, man.
I might change my Bournemouth prediction.
There we go. I'll put Bournemouth up in my rankings
Yeah.
if they sign him for sure.
I like that.
Hey, the more Americans in the league, the better for us.
Oh,
We have
that's
so
great.
many Americans now. It's crazy.
It's
awesome.
cool to see. It's cool to see. Okay, next up, biggest winner of the transfer summer window.
We're talking teams here, right? So
That's how I interpreted it. Did you do
Yep.
that as well? Yeah, okay. All right, let's start with Blake. What do you got? Who's your big winner? Is it Tottenham?
No, it's not. They lost their best player. I put Newcastle, but before I did that, I think after the new signings today, they have Liverpool. So I'm like, it's like a 1A, 1B. I like what Newcastle did of Tonali, but I think Liverpool won.
I'll just jump in because I've already talked about them enough. I agree. Liverpool is my biggest winner. Torrent?
this is hilarious. I also have Liverpool.
I mean, it's hard to say no. They put
Yeah,
3
yeah.
studs on their team. Like,
Yep.
yeah, it's hard to go against it. If I had to pick a silver medal, oh man, I don't even know. I'd probably go Brighton TBD because they just collected so much money.
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
go
take anyone
spend.
up.
got
That's
to
the
do
problem.
something with it. So
Yeah.
I really like I picked Newcastle not just because Tonali, but I really like Livramento from Southampton. He was like their best defender last year. He was super good, and they got Barnes from Leicester too. So they got a decent amount of good players.
Oh, sorry. Side note, but did you see Ross Barkley got signed to Luton Town?
No.
Did he really?
Great place for him.
Yeah.
Great place.
Yeah, that'll be awesome to see him again. I think my silver medal would go to Chelsea actually, because they got rid of all the shit that they did in January. They just cleared it all out when they needed to. They brought in a good coach, and I think they kept more or less the right group of people. So I'm going to give them my silver. Okay. Biggest loser, I have Everton. Just what are you doing?
Everton.
What are you doing? They sold.
I literally wrote Everton. What are you doing? Question mark.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not reading your notes. It's just like, what are you doing? They sold Moise Keane.
Ashley Young.
They sold Moise Keane, so they got some money back. Yeah.
Yeah.
They signed Ashley Young, who's I think 38. I'm not exaggerating. I think he's like 38 years old, somewhere around there. And then Dan Shuma, who's a legitimate player, but they got him on loan.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Yeah, he didn't do shit though for Tottenham. Like he played.
He never fucking played. They put him in for like 5 minutes.
And look at that, he played 10 matches. I watched a good amount of him playing. He was not good.
Dude, I don't know what they're doing. Like, are they trying to get relegated? I just don't understand. I feel like they're just being cheap as fuck. The owners are being like the Spanos family. They're being cheap as fuck, and they're just trying to like stay in the league to make money. But they're just doing enough to stay in the league, and I want it to bite them in the ass so that they get relegated. I want them to get relegated.
We have such good fans too.
I feel bad for their fans.
Wolves are like they're 10, 11, 12 mid-table team. I feel like they're turning into now in Everton. I don't know if they're like running out of money. They sold.
Oh, they were. I mean, we talked about it last year. Their owner was whack. So
so they sold. They sold their like main players. Like Jimenez isn't great, but Cody was like a young good player. He went to Leicester, which is crazy. Like him just going to go to the lower division. Screw you, Wolves, which is like a concerning thing. They sold Neves for a bunch of money, right?
They got a ton of money for that.
They did, yeah. It's just like they didn't bring anyone else, and they brought in. I think their biggest signing is Doherty from
for free.
From Tottenham.
Yeah, and that guy, I feel like hasn't been a top level player in a few years.
Yeah, I feel like those are definitely two very similar teams that are coming in from the off season. So really can't expect much out of them.
Yeah. All right, I'll close up right here with my favorite team, Liverpool. My favorite signing individually, Pulisic to AC Milan.
Yes, let's
go.
Dude, same here. That's mine.
And did you see the goal he just scored yesterday?
Oh, I did not actually.
No, I saw the penalty rebound, but
no, it was a penalty rebound. Yeah, he actually was the one that got the penalty too. He hit a really.
Was that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the guy tripped him, then he hit the
Yeah.
goalie in the face, and he scored it.
Love it.
Oh man.
And our boy Liao made a comment how much fun it is to play with Christian. So
Torrin read
Oh
me the
yeah.
quote of that exactly what you were talking about yesterday, and I was so amped. I was just like,
I just saw Austin. Austin was just like,
let's go, let's go. Dude, just like so fired up, dude.
I know.
Oh my god,
It
it's
feels
awesome.
so good.
So awesome.
All right, we're in unison there then. All right.
We're all, yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, we didn't go. All right, Blake. So you are our token Tottenham fan. You are born and raised in California. So why are you a Tottenham fan?
it's a good question. Now, I think a few jobs ago, I had some British coworker blokes, and a lot of them were Spurs fans. And then when I moved to San Francisco, the pub below my apartment was a Tottenham supporters pub. So, waking up at 8 a.m. on a Saturday and have a couple beers, and you get sucked in real quick. So I have
Nice.
multiple friends that became Tottenham fans that lived around me through that, but also I had all my coworkers before that were already trying to convince me. So joining the Premier League fantasy teams of them, and they're all Tottenham fans trying to, And I wanted something that was not easy. I wasn't going to pick Chelsea. It was really good at the time. Arsenal was winning all the time. Liverpool. So
Yeah, you
I guess I
can
just wanted heartache
choose
after
one of the
heartache.
top dogs.
Yeah. It was like they're good enough to like maybe win, but they are painful at the same time. And I'm a Dodgers fan too, right? So it made sense.
Oh, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it, all right?
Oh man.
No, I like
Um,
that though. You're supporting your local area, even though it's not Tottenham. That's like your local club because it's right next to you. I like that.
there you
Yeah, it was
go.
down this. It was literally below me, like right below our house, so I could hear it every 6 a.m. when the bar opened.
That's great.
That's
So,
fantastic.
so I believe recently you got to actually go and see the new stadium for the first time and actually go watch a game. So give us your thoughts having actually seen the stadium and been down near the field.
Yeah, and I do want to shout out the bar is named Danny Coyles. If anyone is in San Francisco watching this, you should go check it out.
Add it to the
It's on,
list.
it's on Haight Street.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is the second time I've brought my wife. We were not wife the first time, so she's also big Sun fan. She has a Sun jersey. This is
Oh,
the first time we both went to the new stadium, though. Amazing! Like it was one of the coolest things I've ever been to. Not even being like unbiased or biased anything. It's funny you drive up there and it's kind of Tottenham's not the greatest looking town. It's very not a lot of tall buildings. The tallest building is literally like the train track bridge going over the town. And you get up there and it's just like this mass monstrosity of a building, and it overlooks the entirety like these little. You imagine like a classic British like street of just the rows of houses, and the end of the street is just like this 50-story shining glass building with this massive cock on top of it.
golden cock.
Golden cock. And then the bars are still there, right? So it's like the old pubs that have been there for 150 years. Those were already there at the old stadium, but it just makes it even funnier that there's this new stadium next to these old pubs. And the game we went to was an early start. It was noon, so I had Megan, my wife, chugging down beers at 8 a.m. with me at the local pub. The only girl in the whole bar out of like 200 dudes, so she was chilling, and it was great. We had VIP seats, so we had all you can eat, all you can drink.
Oh yeah, you did it right.
Oh,
It was
great.
fun to go, and we were drunk by 1 p.m.
Nice.
So you were able to go to the old stadium as well. You've been to both.
Yeah, and I've also been to Wembley as well when they played
Oh,
there for
nice.
a few
Oh,
years.
that's cool.
So,
So sometimes with those big stadiums, you kind of lose the atmosphere. What were the atmosphere like? Compare it to the old one. Was it better, worse, same?
I think it's about the same. I think it wasn't supposedly it wasn't as good. I didn't go to the first couple of years, but it's insanely loud. I've been to a good amount of stadiums. The atmosphere at Wembley was terrible. It's just too big of a stadium. They did a good job of building where it almost looks like, ever seen Borussia where the stands go all the way up vertical? They have that on one of the sides. That's where all the supporters sit, and it is so loud. Like it's a pretty wild experience just to sit there and watch that. So the experience, I think, hasn't really died down. It's actually gotten better since it opened. It's probably only going to get better, right? I think it was like kind of like early blues of like, how do we figure this out? But I think the crowd's done a good job of like making it their own.
For sure.
That's great.
Nice.
So, question for you, jumping into this upcoming season, right? So we already talked a little bit about the Kane move and how there'd already been a lot of other moves that were made. The one thing we didn't really talk about was the new coach. So I was curious to get your take on the coach. I don't know how much you knew about him or of him coming into him taking the job on, or if you've done any research on him. But what are your thoughts with this new coach coming in?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know a lot about him. He like coached in Japan, he coached in Australia, unless you're following Australian Premier League. He also, obviously was at Celtic and did a really good job there. So I guess the research I've done, he plays a very fast attacking style, which I love to watch. I love watching at Atlanta in Italy. Teams that are just like crazy and wants to score a bunch, and they're probably going to get scored on a bunch too. I don't know, that's more fun, as Americans, right? We like to see that. I think the last 3-4 coaches Tottenham has had is let's just park the bus. Maybe we'll get a goal from Kane and kick it up to him. If we don't score, we're going to lose 0-1. This is going to be fun where it'd be 3-2, 4-2, like just like the highlights and things I've watched already this year have been fun. Like them actually kicking the ball out of the back and, actually playing like a fun looking soccer of possession and trying to actually create in the midfield and even in the defender side has been pretty cool. So they're actually able to it seems like they're actually passing the ball a little bit better already just in like preseason.
The anti-Mourinho.
No, literally is.
Or Conte even. Yeah. All right, bonus question.
He's already said that. He's been pissed already. And I'll say one more thing. Like I saw an interview a couple of days. And I don't know if you guys ever watched one of his interviews. He's an all-time interviewer. Absolutely hilarious, just Aussie guy. Just tells it as it is. And he just basically cusses out his own players, like how you're being lazy or you're not passing the ball enough. This is not the old Tottenham. So and then he's gonna have a good difference to come in, actually shape the team, and the team needs to be shaped.
All right, bonus question: can you pronounce his name?
I know it's Anje, right?
Hey, I'm terrible at pronouncing things, so
it's Anje. Off the top of my head, Postecoglou.
Postoglu.
Cheers to that. Nailed it. Must have nailed it. Sounds good.
I don't know.
I have another question. Do you have any more questions, Austin?
No, go for it.
Yeah, so this is just kind of a shot in the dark for you. I know you didn't prepare for this at all. But of all the years you've been watching Tottenham, all the players you've seen come and go, I'm very curious to hear from you, looking back, who is actually your least favorite Spurs player of all time?
Oh, I love that you went least favorite. While you think, let me throw mine in.
Yeah.
Harry Winks. Sorry, go ahead.
No, he's up there. Harry Winks is that's tough. The last
who would you hate to see come back to the team the most of any player?
Probably Harry Winks, and Austin knows that I hate Harry Winks. Like every time he would come in, I'd be like, "This."
I knew it.
I feel like he was treated like the prodigal son too. It was like, this guy's so good. It's like, nah.
That's because he was English.
Yeah.
He was like a homegrown player. He scored a really great, crazy goal. I would not be happy if he came back. No, I'm not even gonna say that. He's a legend too. Lucas Moura is really annoying to watch because he just kicks the ball in front of him and tries to run past people. But he did have those 3 goals in the Champions League semifinal, so he became a legend right there.
That player for me is Lamela. I just he just rubs me the wrong way.
I like Lamela. He'll elbow people in the face, so
he's just I don't know. He's got a punchable face.
I feel like he never got to where he should have gotten to. I feel like he had so much potential.
Yeah.
And he just never really got there. He was still good, but yeah, I could see that.
Davinson Sanchez is also one that really bothers me. If you want to talk about the last 5 years, every time he comes in, they score. It's automatic.
Oh man.
That's
So you did a tour of the stadium. This is my final question. We'll leave on this one. You did a tour of the stadium, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Do they have a trophy room? Like, how does that work?
They do have a trophy room.
They do?
This is like a misnomer that people say they have no trophies. They actually have a decent amount. They've won the European Champions League twice in the 80s. They haven't won the last granted 15 years. So since I've been a fan, I'm probably the problem. But they do have a trophy room.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, hey, I learned something. There you go. All right, cool. Well, we're happy to have you on. I'm happy you're a Tottenham fan and not a Chelsea fan or something like that. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be friends. So, it's cool to have you here. All right, well, the season starts tomorrow. So, get your picks in if you haven't gotten your picks in. Set your lineups.
Set your fantasy team. Yep.
Wait, let me just finish with
I have Harry Kane still on my lineup.
You can't take him out. You can sub him out, but you can't transfer him because your team's already set because that app is so fucking stupid. Premier League, what are you doing? The season hasn't started.
You can't take him out?
You can't take him out. You have to transfer him out. You have to transfer. Yes, you do. I tried it before.
What if I just delete my team?
Well, you probably still have 2 transfers that you can do.
No, I do.
The deadline's not till 10:30 tomorrow, Austin.
Try it.
Yeah, but that's to set your lineup. Yeah.
Go on and try it. You can put him on your bench.
Unlimited transfers before game week 1 deadline. I'm looking at that right now.
I couldn't do it. So maybe I'm.
Kane is off my team now, just so you know.
Maybe I need some help, but.
Are you sure? You don't want to keep him?
Give it a shot. If you can figure it out, let me know because I can't do it. Maybe I need to go on the computer and not use the mobile app. Maybe that's part of my problem. But either way, Premier League, what are you doing? I know you're making enough money. Make a suitable fantasy game for us. Come on.
Well, the season is here. Thanks for joining us, Blake. It was fun getting to pick your brain about Tottenham. So definitely want you back on once we get into the season to hear what your thoughts are.
And we're gonna get Tony Cornejo on, who is our Arsenal correspondent, so we got to have you guys on at the same time. Get a little.
I think we'll do a debate, because I'm a realist. He is not a realist. He'll make a good podcast.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay. All right, man. We'll check in later. Thanks, dude.
All right. See you guys.
Peace.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ballon Drunks. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. If you want to watch full episodes, check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify.
Cheers. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.